2025, and it is time for us to freshen up our gear. And that means our tie-dye gear. This tie-dye gear is from the Grateful Mountain, and it is inspired by nature and driven by the dead. So if you go into a festival, some intergalactic space travel, or you just want to look cool fixing your toilet, they've got you covered. They've got coveralls, they've got bibs, they've got pants like those dicky ones with the little thing on the side to hold your hammer, and shirts and shorts. And if you can think it, I am sure that he can make it happen. So for the No Simple Road family, the Grateful Mountain is hooking us up with 20% off using the promo code NSR20. So you are going to get free shipping on all orders in the US, and that promo code NSR20 for 20% off your custom tie-dye needs.
Go to thegratefulmountain.com. Hey, Apple, tell us something to make us happy.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, as we all know, it is 2025, and our amazing sponsor, Shop Tour Bus, is back with us again. They've been with us since the beginning, and here we go with another year. So if you want some awesome gear, it's getting ready to be that time to go to concerts and festivals. Go on over to @ShopTourBus on Instagram or shoptourbus.com, and you can order these amazing Grateful Dead lyric-inspired t-shirts. They are so comfy, as I said. And if you go over there and you put in, when you go to check out, No Simple Road, all one word, you get free shipping from them. And they do this with such intention. There's awesome boxes that these come in with all kinds of doodads, and you have a chance to get a miracle bootleg. They just got a restock, so your chances are even better. So get on over there, get it done, and get that fresh gear ready for the concert season.
See, everybody, you're happy now. ShopTourBus.com.
No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
I know the road may seem to go on forever and a lifetime.
Just shave it off, man. Shave the beard off, then that won't happen ever again.
No.
Why not?
Why?
You want to keep ripping beard hair out?
It's just going to continue to happen. That's what happens when you have a beard, Aaron.
That's true. Hey now, No Simple Road family, it's Aaron.
It's Mel.
And it's Apple.
And we're back. Hey,
We're here.
this is the regularly scheduled No Simple Road schedule.
Woo!
We're on it.
And what a doozy we have for you today. What a great way to kick off the No Simple Road year of
With
this.
This. I'm not even going to tell them.
You're not going to tell them?
No.
Well,
I'm
just
just
kidding.
kidding.
It's just going to be a mystery.
It's going to be
Well, at
Langhorne
the-
Slim, everybody. Hey, every once in a while in life, at least for me, I come across an artist that is singing my attitude or the thoughts that are inside my head. The most recent one before this was Leon III with Antlers and Velvet. That album basically was my inner monologue. And then when I heard Langhorne Slim doing We the People, Fuck the Man, I was like, holy shit, this guy is singing everything that's been in my head, and had to get him on the show. And we were not disappointed. This was an amazing conversation.
We were pleasantly surprised, just like what a great conversation and heady person and
a
wonderful
sweetheart.
music. Yeah, a sweetheart of a human being. It was like it felt good.
Yeah. I mean, all of our No Simple Road conversations that we have feel great. But
They do.
sometimes there's ones that stand out, and this is definitely one of those. Apple, what's he got going on right now?
Well, it's gonna say you can go over to langhorneslimmusic.com and check out what he's got going on. And he has some dates coming up here. January dates for Florida, for Virginia, and then Pennsylvania, Ohio. So he's just starting to post some stuff. Check out and see if he's coming to your neck of the woods. And also make sure, like Aaron said, that the single that was released in October, We the People, Fuck the Man, got our attention, but he's got a lot of stuff to listen to We talk about the Strawberry Mansion album that came out in 2021. And this is just a great conversation. If you're not familiar with him, check out what he does. He's an amazing singer-songwriter, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I was super excited to have him reply, because when I reached out, I was like, I really, really want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I reach out and nobody gets back, or, you know,
yeah,
we
people are
can't get
busy.
it
They don't want to
scheduled.
do it, whatever reason.
But this was
Worked
a hit.
out.
So I'm stoked for all of you to hear this amazing conversation. We're going to do the business.
The biz.
And then we will get you to this. What?
I just got to throw it. Make sure you go over to his website and check out the store. He's just posted a bunch of new stuff. A corduroy, we the people, fuck the man hat. I want
gotta
that.
get me one of those. All right, everybody, go to nosimpleroad.com. Check out our website. Go to patreon.com/nosimpleroad. That is how you can financially support us. And we have a new free member, Ryan. Thank you for signing
right on,
up.
Ryan.
Hopefully you decide to kick down a buck here in the future, but I hope you dig what you see. All of you out there, that is how we can keep doing the show. So seriously, go to patreon.com/nosimpleroad. You can call 971-808-1524, and we have a call.
Do we?
Ooh,
all right.
I love calls.
Yeah, this is a good way to start the new year here.
Good morning, No Simple Road family. This is Dave from California.
Good
What's up,
morning.
Dave?
And I just wanted to touch base on your end of year recap, or your beginning of the year episode I'm listening to. Right near the end, Mel mentions the telepathy tapes podcast. And I felt like I had to touch base with you guys on this, because this is a podcast I found just before Thanksgiving, and was really floored by it. You know, I firmly believe in a lot of stuff, and
Me too.
this entire podcast really kind of hit my heart with the way the kids communicate with one another, with their families, with their teachers.
Yes.
And the derision and silencing from the scientific community that they encounter is just nonsense.
Good
Yes.
word.
And I'm only saying nonsense because I don't want to be too vulgar.
It's bullshit.
No, nonsense is great.
But
word.
yeah, I love these kids. I love the fact that they're so open with what they can do. And I wish that society as a whole would be more amenable to learning about their skills and not treat them as less than. I want to do something in my future to help with these kids and to help the spellers and the learner, just everything about them. I want to reach out somehow and help and spread the word. I think the most basic way I can do that is, like you guys always say about No Simple Road podcast, is tell someone I love about the show. And like No Simple Roads podcast, I tell everybody, I have told everybody about this podcast. Everybody that means something to me, I mention it.
That's
and
sweet.
That's really cool.
and then follow up with them to see if they've listened, and
Heck yeah.
so we can discuss it and give our thoughts to one another. So
You are
thank
one
you
of a
for
kind,
mentioning
man.
it on your show as well and spreading the word. I think that that's beautiful and amazing, and I love you guys.
Aw.
Have a wonderful day today. I'll talk to you guys again in the future.
Dave,
That was
we love you, man.
Yes,
that was
Dave.
really sweet. Thank you for. See, it's a little confirmation. I was like, didn't want to get into a whole thing at the very end, you know. So but I also, there's something to be said for talking about something when it's hits you fresh. You know, you have the impact of the energy that it just gave you. Like it put wind under your wings in a certain kind of a way. A week later, that wind isn't as strong. It's not as prominent. And so you may or may not feel like it's the same impact, but I remember after listening to that 10th episode, it was like, what?
It's crazy. If you guys haven't listened to it, go check it out. And hey, Dave, we're gonna try and get the host of that podcast on here.
I hope.
Just saying.
Yeah, she's got a whole thing in forums, and
we'll see. We'll see what's up. But
we're gonna try.
But anyway, that is how you use the tepid line. Call in, say whatever you want.
And that's how you be a great PR person too.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of PR,
telling everybody, following up.
Yep.
Yeah.
PR. You know what you could do for public relation? If you haven't already done it on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review like this person.
Yeah, we got a review on December 29th, snuck in right at the end of the year.
Right into the wire.
So just so you know, January is now open, so you can follow this up with a review of your own. So Mary Fishmas, 5 stars. This is from Split Open and Melt. 'Twas the night before Fishmas, and all through the land, some wooks were jamming to this sick band. Your number one fan said you need a new review. Chandinator for life, he would surely come through. No Simple Road is the best pod for yours. Listen long enough and Apple will drink less beers.
This is true.
They always offer a place to stay for the fam. The conductor can cook a mean Italian jam. Basically the best, funniest, coolest, most informative podcast ever. Your brother, Jay Bananas.
What?
That.
Okay, but even that, John Bananas, before Bananas, or was it?
It was before.
No, I know.
BB before Bananas.
But you know what I'm talking about.
You know what you're talking about.
John, dude, you're such an excellent writer. You have such an excellent way of conveying your feelings. And after having met you, and even before, you get a sense of who you are.
For real, like his voice comes through in his writing. Totally.
It's not common for people to be able to do that, and I just want to acknowledge that. And every time you write in, or you listen to something that we say that inspires you, you just have such a good way of letting us know in the most beautiful way, enthusiastic way, and fun. It's always fun.
We need a John B fix, John.
Yeah,
just
man.
Saying, it's like, hopefully this year we get a meet up somewhere. It should happen. Every time I hear First Tube,
you see John B dancing in an overcoat
when we're at the gorge. Every time I just feel like I'm surfing next to John B on the lawn. Like, dun, dun.
Thank you, brother, for doing that.
Yeah.
We love you, man. Hey, everybody. Besides all that other stuff, grassroots. Just tell somebody you love about No Simple Road, man. That's the bottom line. That's how we spread the mycelial network that is us and you together.
And let the people we love know what we love, because that's the coolest.
And I love this conversation, and I'm really stoked for all of you to hear it. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm totally ready.
Hold on. Are you ready, Darwin?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
All right, cool. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Langhorne Slim.
On a dead man's sleeve, and for all the tea in China, would we trade our greed? No, would we trade our greed? I've seen the way to happiness, but I've seen the way to pain. We've watched our parents lose the race, we're losing it again. We're losing it again. So let us love our neighbor, protect the land, look our brother in the eye when we shake his hand. It's been this way a long time, it's hard to understand. The time has come for everyone, we the people, fuck the man. Yes, it's been this way a long time. Conquer and divide, and go to sleep with ease at night, with God on our side, with God on our side. Now we've even lost connection to the air we breathe. Anxiety and depression are in the blood we bleed. In the blood we bleed. So let us love our neighbors, protect the land, look our sister in the eye when we shake her hand. It's been this way a long time, it's written in their plan. The time has come for everyone, we the people, fuck the man. compromised, and big politics are theater, built to break our spine, built to break our spine. And the people have the power to us all. If we finally get together, we can rise before we fall, rise before we fall. So let us love our neighbors, protect the land, look each other in the eye when we shake each other's hand. It's been this way a long time, so read every book they banned. The time has come for everyone, we the people, fuck the man. The time has come for everyone, we the people, fuck the man, fuck the man. What's up, y'all?
How you doing, man?
I get a whole party of folks.
Yeah.
We got the posse,
Yes.
man.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
We weren't going to let just one of us hang out and do this. We all wanted to be here.
Oh, right on. Well, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank
You
you
as
for
well,
hanging out with
man.
us. I'm Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
What's going on,
Sean,
man? Hey,
Slim.
Sean, what's going
Whatever
on?
Right
you
on.
prefer.
Well, yeah. What do you prefer, actually? Yeah. What do you like to be
Depends on
called?
the day.
Okay. Today.
I like Sean.
All
you
right.
know, I like Slim.
Okay.
But I answer to all kinds of things.
Well, Sean, Slim. My name is Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Yeah, and then we've got.
And then I'm Apple.
Apple. All right. If
Yeah.
he's going by Apple, I'm going by Slim.
You got
Okay.
it. All right, Slim.
I love that.
But also, I have one question: is Sean SEAN SHA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
I could have answered that.
Yeah.
Then I have to
Yes.
I have to ask one question right off the top because of where you're from and where are you still in Pennsylvania?
No, sir. I'm in Nashville.
Okay.
But my mom and my grandmother are still in Langhorne, PA, in the same house that I grew up in.
What?
Okay.
So I get back there, yeah.
My question, I always just wonder because I'm a football fan.
Oh, no.
Are you a Philadelphia Eagles fan just by
Yes, sir.
proximity? Go Birds! That's
Go Birds, yeah.
I've been a fan of the Eagles my entire life. And
Well, where are you from?
I'm basically born in Los Angeles but raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, my whole life.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a team, I guess, back
No.
back when you were growing up, right?
No. It came about when I was like 7 years old. My uncles were big sports fans and they made me pick a team and I loved Eagles.
Yeah.
And it stuck ever since. And then Randall Cunningham from UNLV,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and it was just a good tie-in. And whenever I see Pennsylvania and I saw where it was located, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
he's on this side. He's got to be Eagles fan, not a Pittsburgh.
No, I'm a big Philly sports fan.
Yeah.
And it's a fun year to be an Eagles fan. That's for damn.
Oh
sure.
yeah, we're on fire.
Yes, sir. That's awesome,
excuse
man.
my language, but fuck Kansas City. Oh, sorry.
Your language. You know, I think we're gonna miss some of it because I think that game's coming on while we're talking, isn't it? I think Kansas City's playing today.
Oh
for
yeah.
some reason. There's a
That's
Saturday
right there.
game.
Yeah, because of the holidays.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was confused. I had to like check the calendar because I saw that there was a game today, and I was like, "It's not Sunday."
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a weird week
Oh,
for
wow, it is
football.
Saturday football.
Yeah,
That's
and
weird.
we're putting them to sleep.
It's fine.
They're not.
Yeah.
Aaron's
I
always
it.
like, "You
Sports
talking
ball.
about
It's
sports
cool.
ball?"
It's fine.
Well, I appreciate it, dude, because one, as like artsy dude, people don't usually want to talk about sports with me, and then they're sometimes surprised and disgusted that I'm a big sports fan.
I think we know several people
No disgust
from
here,
Philly.
man. No disgust.
It's kind of like if you're born in Canada, you're a hockey fan. Like if you're
Yeah.
born in Philly, you got to be a sports fan.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I wasn't as a little kid, I wasn't into it. And then something clicked, and for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe because I'm a dad now, I don't know why, but as I get older, I get more into it. And my partner, I don't think she had any idea that there would be this much football going on in that. She's like, "So you watch every week?" Like, that's kind of how this works.
Of course I watch every week, honey. They can't pull it off without me.
Yeah.
What-
That's right.
Is that really how you guys feel about it? Like, is there like a mojo thing about it?
Sometimes there is.
Yeah, definitely. I'm superstitious and with different things that I care about. So the Eagles winning is definitely, I'll like put my Eagles hat off. If they start doing bad, I'll take it off. I'll put it on. I'll take it off. You move to a different seat. You stand up. You leave the room. All that kind of.
That one, I've done that before. It's like, I got to go to the bathroom. Get up, go to the bathroom, come back. The other team scored, and it's like because I fucking left the room.
I wasn't paying attention. Well, I mean, if you think about how magic works, it very well could be.
Yeah,
I mean, your attention creates stuff. So,
hey, listen, man. Who's to say it doesn't work?
Hey, yeah, not me.
Exactly.
I don't know shit. The older, how you said you became a football fan as you get older. I'm learning that I don't know a fucking thing as I get older. I don't know anything about anything.
I think that's a beautiful realization. That's a freeing realization.
Oh yeah.
That I'm far more drawn to people who are, I like to say, that are curious and confused over certain. Folks that are certain kind of freak me out sometimes.
Totally.
You're right.
We were
that.
actually just kind of having a conversation about that a few minutes ago. I'm going to give you some context just so you know what you're dealing with here.
Yeah, lay it on me, man. You could tell me or not tell. I like
that attitude.
A little mystique.
I think it'll make it easier. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Who says he wants it easier?
We live in Portland, Oregon.
Cool.
We moved up here
2016.
Thank you. Then Apple and I have been best friends since I was 12 and he was 14,
for 40 years.
Right on. That's beautiful.
And Mel and I have been married for 27 years this November.
Wow. Y'all are giving me hope for friendship and love.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Slim.
It is real.
It's real.
For real.
I feel like that's the only realness in life, to be honest. Everything else is kind of, you make it up as you go along. But when you're in love, and now you mentioned you're a dad, that's what's tactile. That's what's real. That baby depending on you, your partner loving you through whatever isms you have, fueling your projects because you love it. I mean, that's really everything else just kind of falls by the wayside. And when you look around at the end of the night, who are you standing near? You know what I'm saying? It's not a million fans. Yeah. It's not a manager. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's usually the love of your life and the people that you created.
I do sleep with my manager sometimes.
That's okay.
He's really hot.
Okay. Well, in certain cases.
Point taken.
Hell yeah.
Well said.
Except for that part, right? But you know what I'm saying.
That one part that I have to strongly disagree with. But I agree with you. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately because there's been some hard things. We lost a friend last week, and he's a beautiful guy. And
I saw him. Sorry, man.
Thanks, man. And he had been sick for a long time, and he always just seemed really focused on. He loved music. He ran the record label that I've been on for a long time. He loved music, and he loved his family, and he always just seemed really tuned in a way that I admired a lot. And that maybe that was partially because he knew he only, we all only have a certain amount of time, but that's kind of, I don't know. I've just been thinking about distractions and bullshit and we all kind of fall prey to that. But like you just said, I feel very fortunate, though it is stressful at times, when you have a family and you're trying to do your, there's stress in whatever I suppose you allow there to be stress in. But yeah, I'm trying to level up and keep in that sort of mindset of not falling for too much of the bullshit because it's just constantly coming at us. Plus, we've got orbs and drones and things in the sky.
I know aliens are coming. Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
So we're going to sweat the small stuff when shit's in the sky. That come on.
Yeah, let's all have a party.
You know what, Slim? I mean, on that note, that's kind of why I reached out to you. The music is amazing, and that's also part of it. But what really made me want to meet you and talk to you was it was just before, maybe a couple months before the election, and We the People came up on my feed.
Oh, cool.
And it really hit me. because I've felt like that my whole life. And
me too.
And I see, and I see people, we've fallen prey to becoming divided and letting this media machine tear us to shreds. And for a voice to pop up that was echoing what was going on in my head, I was like, I need to meet this guy more than just like the podcast and all. I was like, I need to meet this guy and talk to him, connect to him. And I'm curious, like, I know why my thought process and why my heart feels like that. I'm curious about your upbringing and how you got there.
Oh, I think I was born that way because I really struggled as a kid in schools and in looking around and not. Speaking of not being certain, I never liked how systems were run, and I didn't trust them. I didn't, though my best friends were old people because my grandparents were so, pivotal and important in my life. I didn't, though I was given the message, to respect your elders. I didn't as a kid just because they were my elders, and I was troubled by authority figures that didn't seem to deserve their positions of authority or to offer respect or a space of like openness or understanding for where. So I think I just didn't, like so many kids, I didn't fit into the places that we put our kids. And so I had an early taste of this shit isn't right. There's something wrong here. And I've just had that my entire life. Thank goodness music was born in me as well. And so I was able to, find my people and my places and a release for that. So, I'm constantly just like, I get into all kinds of conspiracy theories. I think that they're interesting and they're fun, and I believe some of them. But the conspiracy that I think is perhaps the biggest one is that we are supposed to be divided, and we are supposed to pick these sides and plant our flag so fucking firmly in the dirt. And for what? These the politicians or these corporations and I don't believe it. And I think now also have it. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I'm confused why so many people believe it, but I do also understand. I'm confused, but I understand, I think, at the same time, because we all, regardless of how much money you got in the bank account, everybody has pain in their lives, and everybody on the inside, whether they want to speak openly about it, feels broken in some kind of a way at some time, and we want to feel better. And I think that a lot of people say it's right or wrong doesn't really matter, but a lot of people feel like they get the raw end of the stick, and a lot of people do, because the system isn't built for the people.
No, it's a big club,
and I
you're
just
not
don't
in
believe
it.
that. Yeah, and I don't. Maybe I would like Trump if I had a tea or a Coke or something with him, or Biden or whomever. I don't know. I don't know these people personally, but I just don't feel that. Not like the Eagles apple, where I'll put on my Eagles hat and I'll root. I don't feel that passion for these, these characters or these, political sides. I do feel a passion for human beings, though. I don't know why. I'm freaked out by humans often, but I also love I'm freaked out by the human race, and I'm in love with the human race at the same time. It's kind of a weird
I
place to fall.
1,000% understand what you're saying, and man, going back to you not understanding or understanding why people, root for the sports team that they root for when it comes to this stuff. I think it comes back to there's a system in place that's had, since the 30s and 40s, a chance to really figure out how to make us think and see what they want us to think and see. And that machine is really honed in and well oiled now with technology and media and the way things are. And so it's very easy to split people and divide us and make us forget that we are all basically stardust. You know what I mean? And we're human beings, and we're all the same and want the same shit. And one of the things that I'm struggling with, man, is like, I've got a lot of people in my life that I really love that don't all necessarily think the same way. I'm friends with everybody, man. Like, it doesn't matter. And how do you navigate that and be a center for like helping people come together?
Well, music. I think music brings all different types of people together with different beliefs, and it I don't think it focuses on like the analytical part of our brains. It's energetic and spiritual, dare I say. And so it blasts through that sort of stuff. But I'm also I think I've always been a sensitive person.
Yeah.
And I'm interested, if we're going to put it in terms of politics, say, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, so I see the bumper stickers of both political parties. You drive a little bit to one side of town or out of town, and you see a lot of bumper stickers and flags of a certain political party. And maybe at another time in my life that would have thrown me a bit more. And now I'm just I actually think I understand why things went the way that they went this time better than I understood it before.
Right.
But I just, like you said, you'll be friends with anybody. I'm not going to not be friends with somebody because they voted one way or another way, and I'm just curious about it, and we'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen, and I do think that a great if we were to sort of revolt in some kind of way that would mean something is turning, and I don't do it myself, so I'm not preaching, but well, now I did because I canceled the we got to save some money over here, so I canceled some of my things on the TV, the streaming shit.
Okay.
But I would watch the news and the mainstream news, and it's just terrible, whatever network you're watching. It's very easy to see that it's got an agenda, and it isn't to bring people together and find the similarities.
No.
And to it's not a center of spirituality. we would say that. And so I'm just, I'm interested in having been through ups and downs in my own life. I'm interested in people's stories and what hurts and what helps. And I don't think what helps is to size people up based on a t-shirt or something that they're wearing and just saying, well, you're this and you're that. We've been doing that forever.
And look where it's gotten us.
And look, yeah, it doesn't
Work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it doesn't get us past that place. So it might make some of us feel good because we stand over here, so we're like morally justified or standing on higher ground, but that doesn't give me the satisfaction that I'm after.
Yeah, I'd much rather judge somebody on the content of their character and how they treat me and other people than some ideological bullshit.
Slim, I wonder what gives you the confidence to make a song like that. And, you know, as a musician, I think that maybe you want to share your talents and your heart and, like, you know, make people think differently. But sometimes when you're putting out something that is kind of revolutionary or, you know, and maybe an act against just by the words, an act against mainstream, like how do you put that forth confidently without, you know, having so much, and maybe you don't, but without having so much, like, you know, second thoughts or like, am I hurting somebody? Am I offending? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when you put that song out like that, like that can give people, like, you know, those people were just talking about, oh, you wearing that shirt? I'm done with you, dude. Or
you're not wearing a shirt.
You know, that song could be a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In fact, it is. I made a shirt.
And the sticker, which is going to go on my car, by the way.
Well,
I mean, I love it. I just wonder about the.
I felt weirder about putting it on a shirt than what you're asking. Honestly, I felt weird than putting it in a song and singing it and feeling it than like selling it as a message. But I also like shirts and hats, and I've got kids to feed.
Oh man.
No, I didn't, because I didn't. Outside of using the word fuck, which is just inherently, you know, gonna bother some people, I suppose. Because to me, it's much more of a come together song than it is a fuck you kind of a song. It's a fuck you to, you know, the ways that it is, the ways that it have been that we were talking about in the beginning when we first started chatting of this stuff doesn't work. It doesn't feel good to the soul. It doesn't bring us together and elevate us. And it hasn't for as long as I'm aware of. So fuck you.
Yes.
You know?
Hell yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, who would that possibly offend? I think some people actually heard it, you know, because it was I didn't even mean it. Okay, so for promotion purposes, it came out right before the election, but I didn't write that song, you know, a week before the election. The spirit of the song is
timeless.
Is beyond, yeah, well, I hope, but beyond that one election. It's from like what we were talking about, goes back to when we were kids. It goes back to I think so many of us feel sick, if not physically, then emotionally and mentally, because we are I didn't think I was going to say the word spiritual so many times in this chat, but spiritual beings in a often superficial world. And I don't know, I'm not smart enough to know how you break through all of that, but I have my moments where I do, and I know what it's like to feel connected, and I know what it's like to feel very not connected. And I think a lot of what is sold to us and what understandably in a lot of ways we buy into doesn't jive with connecting with ourselves, with, you know, if with each other, with higher vibrations. You guys are in Portland and have a Grateful Dead thing back.
Yeah, we get where you're coming from.
Yeah, this is not lost on us.
You're in good company.
I always like to get behind the brain a little bit, and we're clearly
Be careful.
we're picking up what you're putting down for sure. But because people are so freaking self-centered, and I don't mean like self-centered, selfish, self, like what's the censoring? That's what I meant to say. Self-censoring, not self-centered, self-censoring. And so it's really hurting everybody from that connection you were just talking about. Well, if you're constantly putting something before you, you can't speak freely. You can't. And of course you can. You're just going to deal with the consequences. Of course you can. Right. Nobody stops you from anything. But we've been in a culture for the past 4 or 5 years, blatantly, and before that, not blatantly, subtly, of censoring what you feel, what you think, what's happening, what's true, what's not true. There's so much censorship, and so it really affects us culturally because it's kind of like holding in your poop, you know, like after a while, like
I try not to do that.
It's a bad thing, dude. Nobody should be doing that.
Things will happen.
It fucks up your system when you do that. But I think that's what's happening. It's fucking up our system. That a lot of people, and the people that are not censoring themselves, that message is not what's connecting.
I think too, back to what he's talking about, connecting to yourself. I think for a lot of folks, what connecting to yourself means is pain for a lot of people, because they haven't had the opportunity to feel, if that makes any sense,
and deal with it.
I saw like that you just got your 5-year chip. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Congratulations, yes, man. Congratulations,
thank you,
brother. And so you get where I'm coming from. I also have been there, and like that.
Yeah.
I think that a majority of folks that we see roaming around are in a similar place, not through substance, maybe that too, but like just emotionally hurt. And
yes.
and connecting to yourself means pain. And so I attach to distraction in order to keep myself safe. And I think that's the beautiful fucking thing about music, is a bridge between those feelings, and it's like a safe space where you can dip your toe in the water and feel the feelings for a little while without having consequence if you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, it gives you an opportunity to see through to the other side of that thing too, where like, oh, I can actually come through this and it'll be okay. And somebody else understands where I'm coming from. And it's like I said a while ago, you know, they've had a long time to figure out how to engineer our thinking. And I think music is the great equalizer when it comes to that shit, and a way through it. And I'm curious about your journey with sobriety, man. What was the, if you don't mind talking about it, what was the...
No, I don't. This is my cat, Mr. Beautiful.
What's up, Mr. Beautiful? Oh, fucking awesome.
That's a big cat.
We've seen some big ass cats on the show.
Oh my
lately.
gosh, Mr. Beautiful's a big baby.
He's big and he's beautiful.
Oh.
But what was the turning point for you, man?
With Mr. Beautiful or with
yeah, Mr. Beautiful, absolutely.
Hell yeah. With I'm more interested in Mr. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm happy to talk about Mr. B too. One thing I'll say, like I where I'm coming from is never like I was there and then I did X, Y, and Z and now I figured it out. Like you said it really beautifully about attaching to distraction, to maybe not through substance and this and that. And though I don't use those substances anymore, I still, Mr. B is just, he wants
it. He wants it. We're down with it.
Yeah.
We're down
Cats
with
rule.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have those tendencies. I think that the human experience, there is, I think that there's an element of hurt that is just, and that is supposed to be there. I don't know why, but I guess as I get older, it is trying to figure out more positive ways of dealing with it, and not, though I still do distract myself from it in other ways. I've been watching tons of drone UFO videos on my phone. It's like it's gotten to a point where I've had to stop looking at so many of them.
Same. Same.
Yeah,
That's kind of hard not to, dude.
Yeah, but it's like to the extent of which one is doing any of these things, and I guess for the reasons. So, I don't know. I feel like I could get addicted and sort of carried away with all kinds of things outside of booze and drugs. Thankfully, you did ask me about what the turning point.
Yeah,
of
why'd you
sober?
decide to get sober? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mr.
Beautiful.
Dirty Dog.
He's like, I'm not leaving you alone,
wants
Dad.
to be part of the show. I'm here for
He
it.
wants to be here with us. So I got sober 10 or 11 years ago. That was the first crack at it. And I did so then because I felt like I was ceasing to exist. I started to have physical problems as a result. And I think I would drink and I would use drugs a lot to I've always had like issues with anxiety and depression at times, and so I was self-medicating before I really knew that was like a term or a thing. Certainly doing that, and it worked beautifully for a while.
Yep.
I mean, if drugs and alcohol weren't any fun, nobody would have a fucking problem with it. But it turns out that they can really be fun and be a good medicine, and they were for me until they weren't, and that happened fairly quickly, where it was just weed was never my drug of choice. It exacerbates my anxieties. It makes me more neurotic than I already am. That said, I remember times where, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and you would be in the woods or by a river or something with some kids, and somebody would pull out a dime bag of weed and say, yeah, I got this 2 months ago. And that just blew my mind. Like, you could buy that 2 months ago and still have it. How is that possible? A girlfriend of mine, I remember very vividly, we were finishing dinner, and I went to get the check and, paid the bill, and we stood up, and there was still a half a glass of wine sitting there. And before I even, could, think twice about it, I just picked it up and set it back. And we were together long enough at that time that she had noticed that this was something that I would do. And she's like, well, why do you feel like you need to do that? And to me, it was like, well, why wouldn't you? It's sitting there. And it was just that that need to. I don't, I talk to other addicts and alcoholics a lot, and I feel like there's, they talk about like a need to just like sort of numb out into oblivion. And I felt like I was trying to get more comfortable. Like I was trying to find my connection more because I felt so uncomfortable. And so with Mister, it's really sweet, but I don't know how to do this while you're doing all that.
He is persistent for sure.
He's very persistent.
Get it?
Yeah, I just drank like the supply in the world was running out, and I used the drugs that I liked in the same kind of way. And that, number one, isn't sustainable. I didn't want to die. And I felt like the first time around that it was killing me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically.
Yeah.
And so that was on my 30. All right, here, come sit on my lap. I think that was my 33rd birthday. We were out at playing a festival or something, and I was like, all right, that's my last glass of whiskey. And then it was, and I haven't had a drink since then. But I didn't find like a program. I didn't go to therapy. I didn't do any of the things that many of us do. And so some years after that, I was feeling really anxious and depressed. And there were things in my life that I had thought, well, if only I could have these things fall into place for me, then I would be the man that I've always believed that I could be. And so I was putting all of that and I still fall for that trap sometimes, but I was putting all of that outside of myself. So it wasn't work that I was doing, but if I could have this woman who I so admire me back in the same way. And if this record that I had just put out at the time would do whatever, sell out the tour, what doesn't really matter, but whatever the thing was,
Yep.
then I would be happy. And those things weren't falling into place in the way that that I wanted them to. And I couldn't, it sounds, I don't feel embarrassed to admit it, but it sounds sort of silly, I guess, but
It's not.
I appreciate that. It isn't, but I feel like it could maybe sound like it is, because there was nothing truly terrible going on. It wasn't like just some awful thing happened, and that was my way to deal with it. I just couldn't get myself feeling right, and I was putting all of that into exterior things, and so I started borrowing some medication from some friends, and then before too long, I found a doctor who was like, "Well, you've got an anxiety disorder," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I got an anxiety disorder," and he listed the medications one could take. And so I got to pick the one that I wanted, knowing full well that probably wasn't a smart idea for me. And I got hooked on that stuff quickly.
Oh.
And I don't blame that doctor. I mean, I knew what I was doing. And then I was off to the races. I never drank again, which is sort of odd, but I was using a lot of drugs, and it got real dark. And it got, as it often does, I've learned since I'm now sober and in a sober community. So I've heard many stories about people's relapses and stuff. And it got more dangerous, dark, dangerous and dark, and criminal types of behaviors, and just really like it got real bad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how I would try to stop. I would wean myself off of these medications and drugs. And it's not suggested that one does that, like getting off of like benzos is really tough.
It's fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
It can kill you.
It can actually kill you, and is really gnarly. And, it was so hard. And I think for anybody that's dealing with it, I know how hard it is, because you feel like your brain is breaking and you're crawling out of your skin.
Yep.
And so to do it unassisted, which I suppose one maybe can, but in my many attempts at it, it gets to a point where you feel like you need relief. I've never been a heroin addict, but I imagine there might be a similarity in that. Yeah. So you could speak to that, of like that pain is so fucking great that
you'll do anything. You'll do anything to make it stop. It doesn't matter what it is. You come to like, you've got resolve, and at some point the resolve can't match the weight of the pain.
Right.
And you break.
Right. And so I continued to to put myself in that position of like, I'm gonna fucking kick it. I know I can do it. I did it before. I got off of drugs and alcohol before on my own by locking myself in an upstairs room, and that was a really crazy experience. So I knew that I had done that before, and so I must be able to do it with this, but I couldn't. And I knew I had lost my, for all the reasons that I am, that keep me alive, and that actually, in sort of a perverse way, I was taking drugs because I wanted to get closer to the things I deem as divine, which is like my connection to my creativity, to the people that I love. And in that addict mind, it's like, well, if I have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I'll be able to, it'll quiet my incessantly loud mind, and it'll soften my soul and my heart, and then I'll be able to be here for my writing,
Yeah,
for
man.
my love, for my loved ones. And of course, that sounds crazy to anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, but that's like that's kind of the thinking behind it. But yeah, so the pain would just get too high, and I would go back to it, and I'd lost my my sense of humor, my smile. I wasn't writing shit, and I was just existing as like kind of a ghost, man. And
Start to fade away, yeah.
That's just such a terrible place to exist. And so I came back to, I was living actually out in Los Angeles for about a year, which is sort of comical. I thought I would kick it out there, and I would find like yeah, I know. And then I would find like a beautiful hippie girlfriend and drink green juices with, and go to yoga. And instead I found, some dealers and blah, 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 blah. And so I came back to Nashville, where I've been for about 11 years, and called my mom and called my manager, and had my best friend take me to rehab.
Oh man!
And that was 5 years ago on the 11th, December 11th.
Congratulations, Slim.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're still here, brother. Because
I'm glad you're still here, brother.
Thank you, man. I hear you, man, and
thank you for being so open about it
Yeah.
too. So sometimes people don't want to talk about it, and people need to hear this because it also lets everybody know you're not alone.
yeah,
No, man, we are not alone in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
Not even a little bit.
nope. And man, what you just said about like, if I use this substance to dull the noise, then I'll be able to be present. Then I'll be able to connect, and then I'll be able to like be here all the way, and not realizing that thing is taking you out of the game. That was me 1,000%. And one of the things that I realized, I still struggle all the time with my anxiety and my shit and my crazy head, and I fuck up and do dumb shit, whatever. But like, I think for folks that deal with that, if you can figure out that crazy part of your head is your superpower.
Yeah.
That's that thing that you're trying to like tamp down is actually the thing that makes you wholly and totally and completely, and then tap into the power behind that thing. That's how you can come out the other side of it. And it sounds trite, and saying the sentence sounds real easy. That's a fucking journey right there to figure that one out, man. But yeah, I think when I see you and I listen to your music, knowing that's what's behind the lyrics. That's what's behind the ability to do what you do, is that thing, and figuring out a way to like funnel it healthily into something, and then it comes out as this beautiful art.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And I don't think that you need to be in the depths of despair to create.
Oh.
At the same time, I have always felt like a little bit of a thorn in my soul somewhere, and that there is, I think that there's pain within us all. I've also, for whatever reason, have a built-in like fighter warrior and an optimism. And I'm not sure why that is, but with the addiction stuff, I'm just very fortunate that, as I would imagine you feel about your situation in your life, we're just very fortunate that we live to tell the tale and to go on, as they say, one day at a time. Because
for all intents and purposes, there is no fucking reason I should be here right now. No,
same here, my brother.
No fucking way.
Likewise,
same with him too. Yeah, no fucking reason.
Well,
other than
going on the whole spiritual.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but going on the whole spiritual thing, saying it again, that if you're supposed to be gone, you're gone, but you're not.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it right and true, and that's what makes the struggle not only worth it, but the fuel for post feeling like that. When you're, like, you go through all this shit trying to be present, taking yourself away, and then you get past that. You needed that because now you know that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You didn't know that before.
I'm not gonna lie. There are things that I did that I do regret. I don't regret at this point. I don't regret being an addict and alcoholic and going through that to in fact, a lot of times I feel fortunate because I get to live a life that is, one reason I didn't get sober earlier is I wanted so fucking much for there to be a cure. And I have, a cure for everything that upsets me or ails me or for the addiction stuff or the anxiety stuff. And now, though I still at times want a quick fix, it is exciting to me that life is something to play with and to work on every day. And that concept terrified me before, where I was like, I don't want to work on like some homework or something. What do you mean?
All the time?
Yeah, like the idea of therapy just seemed like, is there somebody that if I saved enough money, I could go up on some mountain? Maybe there is somewhere.
Maybe.
And some fucking bearded ancient cat is going to like sprinkle some dust on my head.
Touch your third eye.
Boop. Yeah. And open that shit. And, and so now it's just like, well, okay, I feel. Another thing, man, we're not taught to sit with our feel. We just don't get taught these. I would think I would have liked school more if it was more of that kind of an education on how to actually live and be human. And we don't. We're taught that feeling anxious or feeling blue, one as a man is like shameful.
Yeah.
But as a man or woman, you brush it off and, be tough. And that's just bullshit because that's part of life. And I don't think we're all always supposed to feel jolly and good. And I'm still trying to, I wouldn't say figure it out, but to have, more. Man, when I feel bad, I still want to isolate. I still want to push people away.
It's the nature of the thing.
Committing to doing a podcast is hard for me. I get like, oh, I'm going to fucking get on a phone and talk about myself. Why can't people just listen to my songs and think I'm good? It's just fear. We're not taught about fear, I think. And I think humans, we've got a lot of fear and that's okay. I think it's just, how we dance around it.
Yeah, man.
So I'm trying to become a more graceful dancer as I get older.
Well, I got to say, it's what like having this conversation so far, like listening to what you're saying, your lyrics and your songs are so tangible and relevant. Like just now talking about that, I was like, it's okay to hide. Your song about it's okay to hide. And then one of my favorites, I'm still going through the older one, but off the newer album, Panic Attack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking good shit.
The lyrics on that, we've talked about that earlier, bringing up like rich people, high class. Like so many of your songs are just so tangible. I just wanted to say, sometimes, man, I hope you realize you are that bearded man up on the mountain.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's very sweet, brother.
Yeah, we all, you know, we all
took
are.
it there, Slim.
We all have it in us.
Took it there.
But yeah, for real, man.
Apple.
Fuck yeah, Apple.
Thank you, brother.
It's the truth.
It's
too.
Aaron's right. We're all born with superpowers, and the more we try to tamp it down, that's when we start looking like clowns. You know, we're trying to tamp down our own flame. It's like, what are you doing? You are supposed to talk about fear. You're supposed to talk about injustice. You're supposed to talk about feeling like shit. And in that, it makes you, that's the medicine. It makes you feel a little bit better because now you admitted it, you're getting it out. And then the people responding back, that helps.
That's
like
their medicine.
That's,
And that's,
it soothes
balance too. Like we're talking about balance. You can't be happy all the time. That's not reality. You know, it's learning to have a balance in your life of those things.
Totally.
Like,
yep. It's a hard lesson to learn though, when everything that you see outside of you is like, be happy, taste this, use this. This is going to make your life great. Wipe this on it. It'll go away.
Do you wake
You'll
up
be
in the morning
perfect.
feeling like shit?
Yeah.
We have a pill for you,
Yeah.
but side effects are explosive diarrhea, headaches.
So,
Like,
Sean, I
But
want
I
to
think
go ahead.
we're all sick of that.
Yes.
We're all hungry for, and I think I've always been hungry for some kind of dirty, in the music and the art that I like. It tends to always be like the early forms of the genres. I like it when it's still dirty and raw, and you know, you can't really question the authenticity of it. And I think, though we do live in this world where we try to, it's just weird that it's like accepted that everybody's like a brand or needs to be some sort of sparkly individual. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
It is bizarre. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it is fucking.
And
Thank you for saying
I mean,
that.
I run a business. Well, it is. It's very strange. And I run a business, I suppose, which is my music and my band. But I've had people talk to me in terms of it as like your brand. And I guess it is a brand, but it makes me feel very fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're all turning into a corporation. Like, no thanks, man. I'll just be me and allow whatever to
I don't
happen.
want to be
happen.
incorporated
No.
into all these
So,
things.
can I ask about the juxtaposition of everything we're talking about versus being a dad?
That's where. Thank you, Mel.
Because I know for
Absolutely.
Aaron, you know, his kind of like straw that broke the camel's back with like his addiction truly was becoming a father.
Yeah, when I found out Mel was
Yeah.
pregnant with our
And-
son, I was like, oh, I think I'm done.
you know,
Yeah,
and I
that's
know
awesome.
that it can transform so much. How has being a dad transformed you?
Well, in terms of the like the addiction and in a substance sense, I had been clean when see, my partner and I, we dated for like a week about 10 years ago when I'd first gotten sober, and I apparently was a little too intense. And so she called it off. And then I didn't realize, but she lived right up the street from where I live here in East Nashville. And we both, you know, continued to live our lives. And she got with a wonderful man who's now one of my best friends and is the father of my stepdaughter. And then she and I, 3 years ago, trying to make the story not confusing, but
No.
you know, we reconnected, got together, and got pregnant with my now 16-month-old son. And so, in terms of like, I don't think that that's what you were asking exactly, but in terms of the addiction stuff, there's no way that if I was rolling like how I was 5, 6, 7 years ago, that just wouldn't be maybe sitting here at all, but certainly not here as a dad with this woman in this house. So that allowed me I can actually segue this into something that feels very real. That allowed me to stick with somebody, have somebody stick with me, and into the phase of life that we're in at the moment. My sobriety and like I guess feels sort of weird to say the work that I've done. I don't know a better way of putting it. But going back into like the fear and all that kind of shit, it helps and allows me to stay in to stick around when I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I think that is a sort of a major breakthrough for me because I don't like to feel scared. And it's scary when you have a family and you have somebody who's relying on you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
And so I have, over the pandemic and when I first got clean and I wrote that record, that some of the songs that you guys were Apple, you were mentioning, something broke for me where I was like, oh, I always thought that the adventure was out there, and there's so much adventure out there. I don't regret that I followed and continue to follow the exterior adventure because it's a beautiful world to explore and people are amazing and music's amazing. But there is an infinite adventure in stillness, and I've always struggled with stillness. And there's an infinite adventure where you almost brought tears to my eyes, where you say you and Apple have been best friends for 40 years, and you two have been together almost 30 years. So you know better than I do. But it gives me hope because there's an adventure in love that I have never known because I haven't given that a shot. It wasn't the right time or whatever. Man. But to stay past the point of, say, the honeymoon phase or checking out with with booze and drugs. So you're like, you're there, but you're not really there, you know? And so that's not something I've figured out, but I'm willing to stay. So I still get fucking scared, and I still sometimes want to just not hit the road, like leave my partner and my kids. I don't mean that, but I
get away from it.
Yeah, get away from it, or just, I'm with somebody too that she calls it werewolfing. She can tell when I'm getting too much energy trapped in there, and knows that I need to go and perform or sing or connect with certain friends or whatever ways that I'm able to do it. And I, for her, like, I know that she's got to go kick it with the girls sometimes, or do what she's got to do. And so I'm fortunate in that way. She's real supportive of my music and knows that is. I've heard stories of, guys or girls getting with people and then they want them to not be on the road or concentrate on their writing or their art. And, I don't deal with that, thankfully. But it'll be interesting to, we'll have a new record coming out, I think, this summer. So I'll have to see how I don't want to be away from my kids that much. So we'll see.
People ask Mel and I, they're like, what's the secret to staying married a long time? Like, how do you guys do it? If you could give us advice, I'm like, don't quit. That's how you stay married. You don't quit. That's it. And her and I say this to each other a lot lately. If people actually knew, like, as time goes by, if you don't quit and you love each other, as the years go by, it actually gets better and better and better. I would say now,
I believe that
is the most awesome time in 27 years of being together.
It's the sweetest it's ever been.
It's disgusting sometimes. I'll just tell you that straight up. It's like, why you two quit being so fucking cute and doing that? Like,
but that's the thing.
In the beginning, I think was our hardest time. Like, our first year of marriage was my first, the worst year of everything. And we were figuring each other out. We weren't together too long. I was finding out about his addictions secretly and openly. I was a mom, a 16-year-old mom. So I was bringing a daughter into I'm a grandmother at this point in my life, you know? And I was bringing this relationship, a huge amount of responsibility on somebody who wasn't responsible even to themselves. Yeah. So like,
well, and that's what I'm saying, because we have that in common. So my partner, I've got an 8-year-old stepdaughter. It's incredible. And I mean, I just can't imagine. We took things so slow to, you know, even me just meeting her, let alone being like her new special friend and all that. But, you know, if I was still getting fucked up, I don't know how people do it. It just seems like it would be very, very tough. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's
it's all of it's relevant in the sense of we're on this adventure of life. And I love what you were saying, that you thought the adventure was out there. The adventure is straight up in here, like in yourself. You're adventuring every day, no matter whether you're at home for 8 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, or if you're like out working and coming home, like you're an adventure inside. And so when we're dealing with all of the stuff that we were dealing with, learning how to be a couple, nobody, like you were talking about, nobody teaches fear. Nobody teaches how to be together. Nobody teaches that.
Nobody can.
All of different. Every single one of us here came from a broken family. I was raised by a single mom. Aaron's parents were divorced. Apple's parents were divorced. So we didn't see it modeled. We didn't know what that meant. And we were making it up as we go. I'm a literal teenager. I got married to Aaron when I was 19. So like, I'm literally learning how to be an adult and a mom. And
you married a junkie.
And I married a junkie. And I'm trying to make a wholesome, fucking cool, sweet, like family for my daughter and myself and him. And nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. We just do it. And back to what I said earlier, the only reason any of this is still intact is because of love.
Yeah.
Period. There's no other magic thing that happened. It was only because I really did love him, and I knew he was sick and I knew he was fucked up, but I loved him enough to stick it out. And he loved me enough to make me remember that I shouldn't quit.
And I think that going back to what we were talking about in the very beginning of this conversation, like what's the antidote for all the disconnection and pain? And it's love. Love is the thing that is the cure for all this. And I think
and it's not so easy to enact, like love as an action.
No. If only it was easier.
Right? It's like, easy. I'll just love you then. It's so fine.
I'll just love you, or I'll just love myself. I mean, it takes work. It takes work to, maybe for some it's easier than others. But I think I could tell when I'm feeling good on the inside, it's a lot easier for me to be good around the house and sweet on my lady and do the, you know, all the right things. And when I'm not feeling so groovy on the inside, it's a lot harder. And so it takes work. And I would say, maybe I'm saying too much, but probably once a week, my partner and I, independently of another, I'm sure we get into some kind of something and we're both like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And we, for some reason, together we're able to repair quite quickly and just kind of move on. And I feel fortunate for that because
and that's love. That's like love in action right there. You're getting past the hurt and repairing it and moving on. And that's what that is. And that, like, when I say love is the antidote for all that stuff, it sounds stupid. And, you know, love is all you need, whatever. Yeah, we know. But
what does that mean?
But in action, what does it look like? That's the idea put in practice of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Having enough sense to be like, oh, you need to get out of here. And my feelings aren't hurt about it. Right. That's what you need right now. Fine. Like, go do it. And, you know, love looks a lot of different ways, and and it acts a lot of different ways,
and comes in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
Like music, to all of us sitting here, music is life. Music is love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has saved everybody's life that I know.
Yep.
It's better than any drug in the world. It's the best.
All this that we've been talking about is like, it's the reason why I wanted to meet you, man. I knew that we were cut from the kind of same cloth, dude.
Yeah, and seems as though we are, brother.
Yeah, and all this is important, but what's really important is, what are the fucking drones, Slim? What are they?
We need an opinion.
Well, my opinions are taken from others because I've read all of the theories.
Right.
I still don't know. One thing I feel like I know is that our government knows.
Oh yeah.
So it just makes it all the more interesting and bizarre that we're not being told. But I've heard, maybe you guys have too, that there's either some kind of weapon or nuclear substance that has found its way into the country and or has been released into the atmosphere, and they're looking for that. I don't know about all that shit. But there are all these orbs.
Dude, I saw a helicopter chasing one yesterday. Like,
did you out in Portland?
No, like online. Saw a helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
You see the one where it's like a Black Hawk helicopter, and there's these two orbs in front of it, and you could see clearly it's a helicopter and these two things, and they just fucking take off.
Yeah, I've seen it, and we've seen drones outside of our house here in Nashville. It's very strange. The theory that I kind of like is that they are, from either outer space or interdimensional.
That's what
they're coming here.
I hope,
and that
it's much more exciting.
And that it's more exciting, and that the drones are either there so that we humans will be confused as to what we're seeing, and we're looking up, and then there's all these drones too, and there's or that the drones are being put there to observe whatever those orbs and UFOs or UAPs, whatever they're calling them, are doing.
Shit, I hadn't thought of that. See,
I saw it. I heard an interview. You see, you shouldn't have asked this jokingly.
No, it was tongue in cheek. I'm serious.
Yeah. So we're all
been
looking
down the
at
rabbit
it
hole
too.
with you, man.
Well, I just heard, and who knows what, I don't know what is actually real that I see or read on the internet these days, but there was somebody in Congress who, I guess months ago, when this was all just starting and before the news was reporting and all that, he was interviewed, and he had said that as far as he knew, these were either alien craft or potentially from China or wherever, another country's craft. But regardless, they are 100 to, I don't know what he said, 100 to some 500 years beyond our technological capabilities. And that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And then that story has been, we're not really hearing that anymore. It's just like, well, these are commercial drones.
No, man, come on.
Some kids having fun.
And the thing,
one of my favorite things, what I told you about, is that guy that, and who knows where the truth lies in all this, but he was talking about one of them. This was in the New Jersey, and one of them actually was like a medical helicopter because his wife was the pilot. There was also drones, but there was a helicopter, and he was just kind of pointing out. He's like, do you all think that it is the smartest thing to just start shooting at something that you don't know what it is? Like, that's your reaction, to just pull out your gun and start shooting up in the air to try to hit. There's no way you're going to hit it.
And you know what, too, man?
But it's just like, that's your reaction, is to shoot at something that you don't even know what it is.
And we're seeing all these different theories online and all that. And the one that seems to have like percolated to the top of the heap is this like weapon thing.
Yeah.
My bullshit detector immediately goes off and goes, well, if they're telling us that, that's bullshit. What's really
Then
going
it's something
on?
else.
Yep. It's like the shell game or 3-card Monty. That's,
Yeah.
you know, oh, watch the queen. It's here.
Follow the queen.
That's what it is. So, you know what, man? At the end of it, I hope that it is fucking aliens.
Mhm.
And they come and they're like, you guys are being stupid. We're going to help you fix everything. And you're all
That
going
would be nice.
be dope. And yeah, our
Yeah.
kids
Let me
can,
teach you how to all be dope.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been watching for a while, man, and you've had some really
I
good
think-
moments, but you're slipping.
They're going to be like, I'm going to teach you how to handle fear, and I'm going to teach you how to stay together.
And open your third eye.
Well, I think of it. I had a friend when I was in high school, and he told me the story. His dad was a biker guy, and he had this big, biker motorcycle leather jacket, and the kid that I was friends with always loved this jacket. And when he was being bad, his dad would always go, "Michael, be cool, man. Just be cool." And that meant that he was to take the leather jacket and wrap it around himself, and then he would just kind of chill out and he would be cool. And so I'd like to think that that's what the aliens are doing, is just coming here and just being like,
That's dope.
"Be cool, motherfuckers." And
Ah,
just give us
hell
all
yeah.
Biker jacket, guys.
badass
Chill the
biker
fuck out.
jackets. Chill us the fuck out.
Slim, you got any shows coming up?
I do, man. I'm in January. There's a songwriters fest in 30A, Florida, and I'll be out there. And then I'm going on a short tour with my friend who's incredible, Oliver Wood from the Wood Brothers. And that's I think mid to late January.
Well,
I wish we were coming out there, man.
I wish you were
Love
too,
to-
man.
Whenever you do,
we'll have to meet in
Slim,
person.
Yeah,
you got a place to come kick it, have a nice freaking
We love to
conspiracy-filled dinner.
host.
Yes.
We love you, man.
Well, I used to
Come-
live in Portland, so
Oh, yeah?
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so
done
I
stuff
know
with
that
Craigie.
there's some.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys see him out there a bunch?
Not really.
time to time?
No, we haven't seen him. Oh, well, we have seen him, but not too much. No.
Yeah, we've had him on the
Well,
show.
he's always on the road. He tours like crazy.
Yeah, he's a madman with that.
Yeah.
When you do come out, I'll send you my number in the email, man.
Yeah, please do.
Let's stay in touch, Slim.
I would love it, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thanks,
This was really
thanks
this
for
was
doing
fantastic.
the podcast and not, like, look, man, your music
Blake,
is so dope that we want to know more.
Yeah, we want to meet the guy.
It's not enough, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
yeah.
And you never know, how one of these things is going to go. And this was real nice for me. So I
Right on,
appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you, brother. Have a
Real
wonderful
nice to
day.
meet you.
Go
Yeah.
patch
Go
things up
Birds.
with Mr. Beautiful and give
I
him some
will.
attention. And yes, go Birds, man. We
Go
got
Birds.
this.
All
Oh,
Later, brother.
Man, right on.
Peace, you guys.
Later.
Love y'all.
Aw,
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
that's dope.
I love
What
it when a
amazing
plan
human
comes
being.
together.
yeah. From the moment, we got
there's,
on.
There's several instances of No Simple Road where like I've reached out to an artist and they say yes, and then we have trouble scheduling the interview or whatever, and then it just kind of
Fizzles
out and I forget or they forget, and then whatever. I did not let this one go.
Right.
I was like, I really want to meet this guy. I really like when I saw that first clip on Instagram, I was like, oh, this like-minded person here. I need to get to know
He's
him.
dope. He's
Yeah.
dope. You know what? Maybe he'll listen to this when it comes out, maybe not. But when we were going through our stuff, I was pregnant with Simon. I was like so scared that he was like, because of your past, that he was going to be a certain kind of way, maybe like sick or
Messed
have
up.
10 more fingers than he was supposed to have or something. And I'm so grateful for your past that Simon got that kind of a dad, because you know what's up, and
That's
you
sweet.
have been able to teach him so much. And if you didn't have that, I don't know where we would be. And
That's really sweet.
I
baby. Thank you.
appreciate that.
The strength.
And I just wanted to share that with him too, because, you know, I know maybe sometimes it can make you feel like less than, or you're not perfect or whatever, but like that wisdom that you gain from that lifestyle and overcoming it is invaluable to a child to see and to feel and to know. Like, so I just feel like Slim, you know, and maybe you aren't even ashamed or bad about it or sad about it, but like, it's fucking dope to have a parent that knows what's up. And so your little boy's lucky, man.
That's like he was talking about. That's like that biker jacket.
Yeah, and daughter.
Like you got a biker jacket that's got patches and all the things. Like totally. Simon and Sydney both. They've always known when it comes to like that they can come talk. It's not like you got to hide. Like, oh, I'm going through depression and I was drinking about it and I can't talk to my parents about it. Like they know it's a safe. Like,
oh yeah,
it's been amazing
to talk to both
have
of you.
That. So thank you, babe, for. I mean,
you're welcome.
Just being you. I love you.
Thank you for being you and making sure that I didn't disappear.
Thank you for being my friend.
Should we go eat a bagel?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Everybody, we will be back on Monday with another episode of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind. Go follow Langhorne Slim on Instagram. Let me pull up his handle. I'm pretty sure it's just Langhorne Slim, but you never know. Yep, Langhorne Slim, at Langhorne Slim. Bogirds, and until next time, take care of each other, smile at a stranger, safety third, hydrate, and you don't have to root for a football team. It's okay. Love y'all. Peace.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. Shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Bowie, Dylan, Marley. You've heard the names and maybe you've heard their songs, but what about the stories behind the records that made titans of music like these so universally loved and important? Join me, Josh Adam Myers, host of The 500, as each week I go through a different album from Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums list from 2012 with an incredible lineup of comedians, actors, and musicians, talking about how the music has impacted their lives. New episodes of The 500 come out every Wednesday. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.